I am going to be doing a makeup tutorial using the Me Cosmetics. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're not too bored. So I've never done one of these before, so I'm going to try my best and hope that you can get something from what I show you today. So I'm going to start off first of all with the Smoothing Face Prep by Me. All the products I use today are going to be Me. This is great because it has lavender in, which is really soothing for the skin, but it also has in anti-aging properties as well. So I'm just going to pop this on and make sure pop it on nice and evenly. And I quite like to just let it sink into the skin as well before I apply my makeup. It's really silky, so it's a really good base for your foundation. I like to come right up underneath the eyes as well. Make sure it's right in around the creases of my nose. As you can see, I've got a lovely spot today, so I'll be covering that up. Do excuse my hair as well. Obviously, we can't get to the hairdressers right now. Okay, so I'm just going to let that soak in. Whilst that's soaking in, I'm just going to talk about foundations. Now, my two favourite with the Me range is the Absolute Face Base. I love the Absolute Face Base. It's really good coverage, and I've got quite oily skin, so I do find it wears really well when you've got a greasy, oily skin as well. Just make sure today I've cleansed, toned, moisturised, very light amount of moisturiser. Let the moisturiser sink in before you actually come to put the primer on. It's really important that you have a really nice clean foundation before you put your makeup on so that your skin's nice and hydrated as well. Don't make the mistake, if you have oily skin, of skipping out moisturiser. At the very least, use serum. And the reason for this is your skin will secrete oil throughout the day, and if you haven't put any moisture on there and the skin's not hydrated, you're going to find that the skin's going to produce more sebum, so more oil, and you're going to find that your makeup's going to slip and slide as well. The other foundation I really like as well is the Flawless Face Base. Now, the Flawless Face Base has an SPF in there as well. I believe they still have the SPF in. It's an SPF 10. And this is really good if your skin's more on the dry side, because what you will find is if you go for something that's a real high coverage, it's going to stick in all the fine lines that you get with your dehydrated and dry skin, so you don't want anything too heavy. So I'm going to go in and put on the Absolute Face Base. Now, I like to use it's a little bit scraggy now because I've had it many years. The Me brushes will last if they're looked after, so I tend to clean it with, they do a really nice cleanse balm. And inside, I've not got much left of this, but inside you've got a sponge that has almost like a soap over the top. It's not a soap itself. It's very conditioning. It's going to condition the bristles of your brush. Now, these are synthetic, and it is important when you put your foundation on that you use a synthetic brush. You don't want anything that's going to be porous, so if it's not synthetic and it's porous, it's going to absorb the product. So, and you need to clean your brushes at least once a week. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to put a couple of pumps of product on the brush. I find if I use the brush rather than my fingers, it's going to go further. So I'm just going to put a little dot of product around the skin, and then I'm going to start buffing it into the skin. So this is the boring part. I've been trying to edit, but I'm finding it really tricky to actually cut out certain parts or fast forward certain parts. You probably noticed that on my last video. I messed that up a little bit. Now, I don't come all the way under the eye. I stop around about here, And the reason being is it is a heavy coverage, and what I don't want to do is accentuate my fine lines and wrinkles. I try and not go through the brow with it either, because you'll get that cakey look through the brow. It's nice, this is, because it's got a slightly matte effect, but it's not as matte as some of the others that are on the market at the moment. There are a couple that can be really quite dry looking. So although this is long, dropping that. So although this is a nice long wearing foundation, it's not really drying on the skin. Now, if you wanted to work a little bit more into the creases of the nose, you could use something like this, which is the perfect base brush. So you can kind of go into the little crevices, maybe a little bit closer under the eye, but don't take your foundation all the way up to the eye, because we can use an eye concealer for that. But I prefer to use this because I can distribute the product quicker onto the skin. You'll find with something like this it's going to take longer to do as well. So they do have several eye products. My favourite ones, you have got the BB cream, the I11 BB cream. This has got an SPF 15 in. And this is really good if you do suffer with dryness under the eyes. You don't want anything that's going to cling to the dry areas on the skin as well. And then you've also got, and I love this, this is a relatively new product, so you've got the Double Delight. This has in concealer, which is on the top here. So if you see there, you've got your concealer, and they do it in a couple of colours. And then you've also got this, which is, it's a little bit more highlighting. So if I just show here, so it kind of highlights and emphasises into the eye area. I'm going to use that today because I'm going to go for quite a light look today. I want to go for something that's a bit spring, a bit peachy. So I'm just going to pop this under the eye area. Just a couple of dots here. And I quite like to use my fingers when I'm applying this. So just dot it on first of all. And it's more of like a press, so just press the product in. It's really illuminating. And it's anti-aging as well. It's really good for, you know, if you suffer with puffy eyes. The BB and dry cream is really good for that as well. The BB is tinted, so you still have some colour in there as well. Now, if you wanted a heavy coverage, you could then apply your concealer end of the Double Delight. So you can then go in with the concealer. And again, you'd pat it as well. But today I'm just going to leave that because I want quite a nice light look. Now, I'm not going to put finishing powder on yet. I'll do that at the end. I'm going to come in and start with the eyes. I wanted to do something really simple today that isn't going to involve too many products. So I'm going to use one of the bronzing palettes for the eyes as well as the cheeks. So I'm going to start off first of all by putting my primer on. So you've got the Enhancing Eye Prep. I actually use this with my fingers because I find it melts in a little bit better. And this is just neutralising, so it's going to neutralise any high colour you might have on the eyelids. And it is so good for stopping that creasing that you can get with your eyeshadows. You don't need to use a lot, and you can actually pop this on the lips as well as a primer for your lipstick, lip gloss, and again it's going to neutralise any colour in the lips, so you're going to get the true colour of the product then. And I like that just to let that set a little bit as well. just for a minute or so. I always have as well some kitchen towel, so you can brush your brushes on the kitchen towel, you know, between colours, etc. as well. So what I'm actually going to use today for my eye colours is the Celestial Skin Shimmer. Now yours will actually come in a compact, but I've actually got the professional one, which I've taken off my stand, so I have actually saved the packaging for that. So I can pop that on. Now it's got several colours in. I don't know whether you can see here. So I'm actually going to go in as my base all the way up to the brow with this colour here. And I'm going to work through the colours, just creating a blended effect with the different colours. In fact, if I just take it out of the packaging, you might be able to see it a little bit better. Hopefully I won't drop it. So if you see here, so I'm going to start off with this colour here, and then I'm going to go on to this colour, and then I might come with a couple of these colours here as well. So for my base on the eyes, let me just get a brush. So me do these really good brushes as well. I'll put all the details in the description below. This one's really good because you can do your brows and you can do your blending under the eyes with the angle side, and then you can also use this side for applying the eye product as well. So I'm going to go in first of all with the lightest colour in my Celestial Shimmer. Tap off any excess. And I'm just going to go all over the lid. And I do that on both eyes. Now I haven't got all the me brushes to hand, so I am going to use a couple of other brushes that aren't me, but I will give you the info of all the different brushes that you can use, because you kind of want to go in sizes when you're doing your eyeshadow. The ones I'm using here today, so if you see, you've got your larger brush, medium brush and smaller brush in the fluffy heads. Again, these are synthetic. So I'm going to start off first of all with the larger brush, and I'm going to go in with the second colour. So you want to go up in shades. So your first shade needs to be close to your skin tone or a couple of shades darker. And then I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of emphasising in the crease. So you take your brush and I'm just literally rubbing it back and forth along the socket line. And then I'll do the same on the other side. I haven't got all the professional kit for doing these videos, so the lighting isn't amazing, even though I've gone into the best lit room in the house, which is the kitchen. And then I'm going to go to my medium sized brush and I'm going to go in with the next colour. So I've gone light, medium and the darker one in the more neutral shades. And again, I'm just going to go over the socket area. But what this will do is it will just channel along the eye socket. So essentially what you've got is the lighter colour coming further up, and then the slightly darker colour. And this is just like a really, really, really natural look. I will do a more dramatic eye tutorial at a later stage. Okay, so you probably can't see too great on the camera, but it's just creating a real nice blend effect. I'm then going to pop, I'm trying to think what colour to use here. I think I'm going to go in with I just want to highlight a little bit more on the lid itself. So I've actually got a palette called Pure Decadence Eye Palette, but you can go with something a little bit more shimmery on the eyelid itself. So I'm going to go in with this one here, just to accentuate the lid itself. I'm actually just going to use my finger for this because I quite like dense colour on the lid itself. Going right up into that corner. I don't actually take it all the way across the lid, just kind of 2/3 the way across the eyelid. So I wouldn't recommend, if you're concerned with aging, which I certainly am now, I'm getting to that age, I wouldn't go with anything too shimmery above the crease, because it's just going to sit in the lines and it's going to emphasise that area. What you want to do is you want to have more matte colours on the crease and then highlight the brow bone and highlight the lid, and it's going to create that shadow effect. Coming back to the, it is the Celestial Skin Shimmer. This one is in Rose Quartz, the one that I've been using. I'm going to come in, I'm going to add just a little bit of pink, I think, in the corner of my eye. I'm going to go in with my really small brush. I'm just going to add a little bit of pink here. Just a tiny flash. And then I'm going to get the Peachy one. Tap off any excess. And I'm just going to bring this over the outer corner of the eye. Try not drag the product down here. You want to create a lifted effect. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with this the darkest colour on the palette. And I'm going to go in with a small brush again. And please excuse my hair. I've been using that hair gain because I'm trying to grow like a mullet effect at the back and then with a little short fringe in the shaved sides. But obviously not being able to get to the hairdressers, I can't have it tidied up, so it looks horrendous, hence having in the band to try and hide it. Okay, so I'm just going to come in just into the crease and I'm going to create almost like a V effect. I'll do the same on the other side. I will take a photo of the finished result so you can actually see it perhaps with a better light than this. I like to get the biggest brush that we use the lightest colour on and just really softly blend, just really softly. It's such a shame the lighting isn't better in here because you could see so much better what I've done here. Don't know whether you can see there. Okay, so I quite like to highlight under the brows, but what I tend to do is pencil my brow in first. There's various different ways you can do your brows. I'm just going to use the pencil today. Me have loads and loads of brow products. I don't stock all of them. It's something that I am aiming to do. A really good product I'd say right now, if you have your eyebrows tinted by me, I would definitely recommend that you go for the Sculpting Brow Builder. What this will do is it'll actually coat the hairs, so you can actually brush into the hairs. I'm not going to do that now, I might finish with that product, but I'm actually going to go in first of all with, we've got the Impeccable medium. I'm using the medium today, but you can use the light or the dark. And this is a precision brow detailer. So I like to fill in gaps and add a little bit more definition using this. So I'm just going to fill in any gaps I've got. I've got hair that just loves to drop down there, but if I pluck it out, I'll end up with a gap. So I'm just going to do this first. So this is where my brow gel is going to come in useful in a bit. Try and keep that rogue hair in place. And I might just define the top a little bit as well. I like to create a bit of an arch here. So corner of the nose, so the flare of the nose through the iris, your arch should be around about there, if you see. Tail should be corner of the nose, corner of the eye to there. And the start should be flare of the nostril, inside corner of the eye, and it's there. Okay, so I do think some people tend to pluck their eyebrows a little bit too far apart, and that's not great because it can make your eyes look quite far apart as well. So I'm just going to do the top part here as well. I like this because it will create a nice sharp edges. If you don't like such a defined look, you don't have to do this. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with my Truly Medium Beautifying Brow Wand. I've got quite a lot of clients on these. These are great because they're retractable, like so. And we've also got on the other side a brush, so you can actually soften the look if you want. And there is also a highlighter, which I'm going to use today as well underneath my brows. So I'm now going to go in and I'm just going to soften this on the back of my hand because it's a bit rough on the edges. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit more pressure from the middle of my brow, or probably like just about 2/3 of the way along the brow, down to the tail of the brow. This part here, I'm just going to apply it really, really softly. You don't want it too heavy at the front. That's where your fluffy part would be. or is. I always struggle with this brow because it's a lot sparser at the front, and my microblading is pretty much non-existent now. So I have to almost draw the brow in myself. It's nice to have makeup on today actually. I've been having makeup 3 days quite a lot. Give my skin a bit of a break whilst we've got the chance. In fact, I found myself getting quite lazy lately, staying in pyjamas and not being very motivated, so this is good. Right, so you can, if you want, put concealer right up to the edge of the brow. Really good concealer you can do again is this Double Delight. You can pop that right up under the brow. I actually like to use a flat concealer brush for that, so I can get right up into the brow. I'm not looking to go for a really, really sharp look today. I want it to be quite soft and delicate, so I am going to go in with, from again, the Beautifying Brow Wand. I'm going to go in with the highlighted side. So just highlighting under the brow bone. And then the same on the other side. So weird not doing this in my usual mirror with different lighting in here as well. It's not really easy for you to see with the camera quality, but you get the idea. So now I'm going to go in with my eyeliner. With it being a soft look, I'm not actually going to use lid liner today. I am going to use, I like to put a little bit of emphasis into the inside of my eye. So I'm going to use Innocent, 01 Innocent, and I'm just going to pop this in the waterline. I'm going to put it really gently in the waterline. I tend to not go too close to the inside of the eye because you end up with that little gooey bit halfway through the day. Little eye bogey. Yeah, that's my dog having a drink of water. Happy, lovely Happy, just she likes to make herself known. She's actually been quite good considering I'm doing this. Thought she was going to start barking and stuff. So, I'm going to go in with my eyeliner. I like Glance. As you can see, it's not very sharp. I quite like a nice blunted eyeliner. And I'm just going to go 2/3 of the way along. And you can soften your eyeline as well using an angle brush. I bet my dogs are dead confused as to what I'm doing today. I think they're just generally confused that I'm at home all the time. And I'm absolutely dreading what they're going to be like when I actually go back to work. Right. So, I'm just going to get a really soft angle brush. Tell you what, I used the Me one that I had out. So, angle brush, and I'm actually going to go in with that palette that I had before, the Pure Decadence palette. I'm just going to go in with the really nice lighter brown there. I'm just going to soften the edges of the eyeliner. So it just kind of just blends it out. And I like to do the blending with an eyeshadow because it just kind of just blows it out. So I'm just going to soften that even more just using the other end. You see that? So if you see the difference between this eye and that eye, I don't know whether you can see that, but this one has got a little bit more of a soft look. At the moment that looks just really sharp and blunt. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. So it just really softens the eyeline there. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my mascara now. I really love, I don't know how many times I can say really, I really love the feature length it's called Lash Lover. I nearly said Showstopper. They do another one called Showstopper, which is also really good, but I've just loved this mascara, as you guys know. I've got quite a lot of you guys onto this mascara now. So try not pump your mascara because it's just going to go gloopy. Keep it in a cool area. Don't keep it in direct sunlight. So I'm just going to pop my mascara on. Now I have quite long lashes because I'm using a really amazing lash serum from UK Lash. Again, it's a product that I really recommend. And what I find with this mascara as well, I don't really need to dip too many times. In fact, I've pretty much covered those lashes with one coat. So, same on the other side. I can hear my tummy rumbling and I can hear my dog's tummy rumbling. Stag, my dog Stag is just literally down there, not far from my feet. Just going to go in and add just a little more, just on the ends, just to open up the eyes a little bit more. Okay, so we'll do the lower lashes, but I'm just going to let the upper lashes dry first of all. So I am going to go in and use finishing powder. Now we've got the translucent finishing powder here. If you want a little bit more of a heavier coverage to set it in, you can actually use the Irresistible Face Base, which is your minerals. You need your kabuki brush for this, which I haven't got access to today. It's a little bit like this, but it's slightly more rounded, and you've got to really work the minerals into the skin. But today I'm going to be using the translucent powder, so it's not going to affect your base, and it's got like a little mesh bit there, and you can just press the brush into the mesh part, and it'll just give a small amount of powder. Again, I'm not going to take this too close to the eye area because what I don't want is to emphasise those fine lines again. Now, as you guys know, I'm quite pale. So you can see my skin is matched up with my neck. But I might add a little bit of bronzer. And then I'm going to use the same palette that I used for my eyes, for my cheeks. Okay, so that's just set my foundation. So I'm now going to just put my lower lash mascara on. Okay. I don't tend to put much on my lower lashes. Okay. So the same Celestial Shimmer, they have another one called Aurora. That's really nice because it's nice and illuminating as well. You could also go for the Jewel, which is just one colour, like so. I am going to use the Jewel. I'm going to use that just to accentuate my cheekbones. And I'm going to use the more sort of angled fluffy brush, which is your perfect contour. This is really good for creating contour on these areas here. So I'm just going to go in, pop that here. I look so pale on this camera, but actually I don't look this pale in real life. So you see how I'm following the natural apple of the cheek here, along there, all the way up to the temple here. I do quite like a lot of blusher. My husband always says that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the cheeky cheeks. I'm just going to use the Precise Finish. You don't have to get all these brushes, but I'm just going to let you know what I'm using here. So again, going in with this one, the Rose Quartz. And I'm going to make sure that I get every part, every colour combined. I'm just going to put that kind of just on the cheek around here. I'm not going to pop it there, I don't want it like noddy. I'm just going to pop it. You can't really see with this light. I'm just going to pop it on the cheekbone. So on the actual cheekbone rather than under. I just wanted that real nice sort of peachy, you know, going into spring, nice warm glow. Now you can, if you wanted to really contour, you can actually get, again, something like this and just pop it under here, like so. You can pop it down the sides of the temple, however you want to kind of contour your face, but I'm just going to blend that out. Actually, I've gone in a little bit too much there. You know, if you want to get rid of that double chin, which I've certainly got, I can tell you what, I've not been able to stop eating. Right, and then finally I'm going to go in with my lips. So I'm going to use the Lip Liner Delight 03. I just realised that spot's covered up without actually having to use any concealer, which is good. actually going to take it over the whole of the lip. That'll actually help. It lasts a little bit longer as well. And then I'm going to go in with my lip colour. So I've decided I'm going to go super, super peachy today. I mean, one that would work with this look is the matte lip lover in the Bear, which is a really nice sort of neutral colour. But I'm actually going to use the, this one's a little bit more moisturising, Charm in the Passionate Lip Lover. I'm going to apply that with a brush. Oh, it smells lovely. It smells like Easter eggs. I'm obsessed with Easter eggs at the moment. Right, let's get a lip brush. I'm actually going to use, because it's just what I've got to hand at the moment, I'm actually going to use their eye detailer, but you know, you can multi-use things, so. This is like super peachy. And dead creamy as well. I generally tend to wear more matte products, purely because I talk too much and I want it to last. There we go. And you could, if you wanted, you could add like a little bit of shimmer from some of your highlighters just to add a little bit of glow there as well. So there it is, finished look. So I don't know whether you can see there, I'm just going to come in dead close so you can see the eyes. So it's a really, really, really soft, delicate look. There we go. So if you have any questions at all, do drop me a message. I'll put all the products that I've used in the description below. And I will take a photo as well for my social media so you can have a look at the final look. Take care guys, and I will see you very soon. Bye.